Hey, this is Jason Morris with a Facebook group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, and I'm on the phone today with Garrett Allred. Garrett is a superstar. Garrett, I'll let you introduce yourself. You can introduce yourself a lot better than I can.
Yeah, I like to call myself the Great Garrett. I call everybody in my life the Great, whatever their name is. But I really believe that everybody is a great something. So that's what I do. I'm the marketing coordinator and the lead sales agent for our team here at the WGR sales team with Colton Lyndsey's team, and that's who I am, what I do.
Yeah. You know what, I told somebody, I said, hey, I'm interviewing Garrett Allred, and he goes, why don't you message Colton? And actually, I just hadn't messaged Colton, to tell you the truth. I need to, and say, hey, man, let me interview you too. Colton interviewed me, I guess, a year and a half ago, and I messaged you, and I said, hey, you know what? I see you all the time on Facebook. Looks like you're doing some cool stuff, and I figured you would tell us all of Colton's secrets that Colton just won't, you know?
Yeah, you found the inside guy. I'm the one that's the answer.
Yeah. I said, you know what, Colton, if there's a big secret, Colton might not tell me, but I feel like, hey, Garrett won't know. He's just going to tell us what he's doing every day. So, man, working for Colton, how big is the team you guys have now?
So right now we got 5 guys on the team. We're in every single day. So we get to the office between 7:20 and 7:30, and then sometimes we're not leaving until 7 at night, just because we're hustlers, right? We want to get the most amount of work done in a day as possible. We want to sell as many houses as possible.
Wow. And
we actually have 3 guys right now interviewing to be on our team, and what we do is we call it running the gauntlet. So we have people do a KPA, which is a personality assessment that's pretty in-depth that Keller Williams has, and then we have them come in for 3 days to listen to our calls and make sure that they're on board, we're all a match. It takes a very specific type of person to be on our team because we are aggressive and we like to have tons and tons of fun. We like to make a lot of money. And we do things a little bit differently than everybody else, for sure.
So what qualities are you guys looking for with these people?
The biggest quality that we're looking for in a person is just that do-it attitude, just the get-it-done attitude. And there's no definition for us for the what is it. It's just getting it done. I mean, whatever it is, whatever it takes, and it's not only in real estate. I mean, it has to show up in your personal life, too. How are you developing your relationships with your spouse, with your kids, with your family? How are you showing up to other people? If people feel just naturally uncomfortable around you, which we've all met that person who you can sense there's just a little bit something off about them. Sometimes that's a personality thing, and sometimes that's just a thing that, people just have to get over in their own heads. And so what our goal is with the KPA is to say, okay, are we looking for somebody who's really mild, who's somebody who would rather just kind of take spoon-fed referrals all day, or are we looking for somebody who's looking to push as hard as they can to get deals? And that's really the person that we're looking for, is someone who makes their reality and not somebody who just waits and leaves it to chance.
Yeah, I think that's really important, building the atmosphere and the culture of your team. And how do you guys find that person that fits? I mean, how do you find that person? Is it like somebody that's already in your network, or you have to reach outside of that network and find somebody? How does that work?
Yeah, so at first we started putting ads on like classified stuff through Craigslist. We have a local one here, KSL, and Indeed.com, little job search stuff, and that was pulling the way wrong type of people. And what we started doing was calling around just to our local agents, people in our Salt Lake area, people in the Ogden area, people in the Logan area. Just asking them, literally prospecting them like we would have for sale by owner expired, and say, hey, are you looking to double or triple your income this year while expanding with a team that's growing? If they say yes to the questions we ask them, we say, great, we have them come in for 3 days, run the gauntlet. They listen to what we do, and most important is to get them around all the guys. Because every one of us, I mean, we love to give each other shit all the time. And if they can't take that kind of environment, then they're not going to be on the team, because that's how we have fun, and that's how we keep pushing each other. I mean, we all care for each other like a family. We can push each other's buttons all day long, but in the end, if something serious is going on with somebody, we're going to get real with each other, and we're gonna sit down and figure it out, so we can grow as a team and a family, really.
Well, man, how do you maintain that culture within the culture of an office that might not have that same culture your team does?
Yeah, so that's honestly been kind of the challenge that we've had in our brokerages. We are a little bit different than any other team.
Because the average age realtor is like 50 years old. They're a little different than you guys are. They're, I know Colton because we've talked and stuff, and I actually met him. I was in Utah a couple of months ago and I actually met Colton and had lunch with him. Colton's a young guy. He's kind of hip, and he's kind of, into what's cool and what's next. And, average age realtor is like 50, maybe 55, depending on your market. How do you maintain that culture in your team without letting the office culture affect that?
So, I mean, the office culture definitely tries to affect that for sure. We've moved offices several times because of people complaining of how loud we are, or, sometimes our language is a bit rough and stuff like that. To which, we try to be as respectful as possible for sure in the office, but, as we're expanding, people are, that are near our office are just hearing a low rumble all day long because all of us are on the phones. And so we definitely hear about, what's going on with our team. Everyone knows we're different. We know we're different. So it's finding a middle ground where, okay, what do they expect from us? But more importantly, what do we expect from ourselves? We cannot do business in a cookie-cutter way. That's just not who we are. And if for some reason, it came to the point where we had to actually just leave the office and go somewhere our own, then that's what we would do. But right now, we're at Keller Williams Legacy Realty, and they're being pretty accommodating to us. I know we make a little bit of noise here and there, and they've been pretty good to us so far. So it's we kind of got to find a middle ground,
So what does a common day look like in the life of Garrett? What's your work day look like? Because you wear more than one hat, right?
Yeah, I do tons of stuff. So a common work day for me is I get to the office. Well, I wake up at 5 first off and exercise, make sure to get my blood pumping, my breath in and out. If I don't do that, the chances of my day going wrong are really high. I need to get into a positive mental state first thing in the morning, just because that's what you got to do. I have to get clear on my morning and what I want my day to look like. After that, I get to the office no later than 7:30, and we begin role playing as a team. Everybody gets to the office at 7:30. We begin role playing for 30 minutes, and we say, okay, what are we hearing on the phones? What are we hearing at listing presentations or buyer presentations that we're not able to get over? So we role play these things so we can get over them. A lot of the things we're hearing now is like the springtime market. We're going to sell in the spring, so we've been role playing that objection handler a lot, so we're ready when it comes up.
How are you guys overcoming that when somebody says, "Hey, yeah, I do want to sell my house, but I'm gonna wait till the spring"? How do you handle that objection?
Well, we just ask them the question, be like, okay, I definitely appreciate that you want to wait till the springtime. I find out why they want to wait till the springtime, see if it's a condition or an objection. If they're like, well, we think we can get more money, you just ask them the question. If you knew that by waiting till springtime you could risk losing $10,000 to $15,000, would you still do it that way, or would you sell it right now? Maybe they say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, think about this. If you list your house in the springtime with everybody else and there's a lot more competition, 2 or 3 times more competition, how's that going to affect your sales price? Naturally it's going to bring it down, right?
Yeah, people are looking in the winter months.
Knows. Exactly.
I don't know if you guys are like this. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys are like this, but in our market, man, you won't get quite as many showings in the spring. In the fall and winter, but the showings you do get like November, December, months are like really high quality showings. Instead of it taking us 10 or 12 showings to get a contract in the spring and summer, it might take us like 3. It's like every buyer is highly qualified that looks at the house.
Yeah, that's the same thing here because, I mean, if you think about it, how many people want to move, while it's snowing? I don't know if it snows. Are you in South Carolina?
Oh yeah, we're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Man, if we get a half inch of snow, it's like everything stops here. We're like the complete opposite of you guys.
Yeah, we get tons of snow here. So, I mean, this is the worst time of the year to move. I mean, I don't think any time of the year is preferable to move. I think moving sucks. But people hate moving in the snow. People hate moving in the cold. If they have to, then they're going to be qualified buyers, like you said.
Yep, that's right. Then they've got a reason they've got to move. It sounds like there, whether it's kids at work or whatever it is, they got a reason why they're moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, man. So you get there, you role play, and then what happens next?
So after we role play, we get clear. Okay, let's set our goals. How many appointments do we want to set today? How many contacts do we want to get today? We set those 2 goals first and foremost. And then we hop on the phones. Between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, we're hitting up the expired list. We're hitting up the for sale by owner list. We're hitting up any hot leads or any leads that we had come in. Then we take a short break for about 10 minutes at 10 a.m. Then we get back to it between 10:10 and 12 o'clock. We hit up cold calls. We hit up follow-ups. We hit up our SOI. Anything that needs to be done in that time is generally follow-up type stuff. Once you're done with that, we'll start cold calling until we come to noon. Once we arrive at noon, we always have a little 15-minute team meeting. This is every person on the team gets involved in this, so we need to figure out, okay, what's the rest of our day look like? I have my time to say, okay, I got to do this, and this. These are the contracts I want to sign. I got to call this person still, blah, blah, blah. Every single person on the team does that. It takes about 15 minutes, and then we break. Some of us will go to lunch. Some of us will keep working.
So the entire team is there at 12 noon?
Yes, yep, every single day, 12 noon.
Wow, what if they can't be there?
A lot of people aren't there. So what we do is we just have a conference call. Like our transaction coordinator, she works from home. So we'll just get everybody on a call. If they're not there, then we'll just conference them in.
Wow. So you guys touch base in the morning, you role play a little bit. And if they can't be there in the morning, are they conference called in or how does that work? Or they're just expected to be there?
No, they're expected to be there. If they're not there, then they better have a really, really good excuse as to why they're not there. Everybody has, situations pop up, obviously. But like I said, I mean, we all give each other a really hard time about, not following through with our commitments. And obviously stuff pops up every now and again, but I mean, we're the first people to just, freak out at someone if they're not there, in a kind way.
I tell people all the time that, like, man, we are the only job that you cannot show up to 3 days in a row, not call anybody, not call in or anything, have no real reason, and you don't get fired. Any other job or any other profession, if you didn't show up 2 or 3 days in a row, you didn't have any reason, you'd be fired. You'd be looking for a job today,
Absolutely.
So you guys call in, you guys check in with each other around noon, have a little quick meeting, and then you guys go out into the world, go on appointments, or either take more calls?
Yeah, so we schedule appointments at either 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock. If we don't have appointments, then we will prospect from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, wherever you feel like your goals are at. We'll either stay later or duck out a little early for appointments. My personal schedule between, say, 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock, I'm really doing everything marketing-wise, making sure everything's going good, making sure our lead flow is good, making sure that all of our social media is good, just constantly growing that monster of our marketing. We're learning new things every single day, and we're testing things out every single day. And so, if I don't have appointments, that's what I'm doing. But the most important hours, I think, for me during the day is prospecting 8 to noon, and then I'll go to lunch from about 12:30 to 1:30 or so. I usually have lunch with me where I'll just kind of work on little things here and there between 12:30 and 1:30 that aren't really essential. Maybe just work on goals or just little busy work that I need to do. But at 1:30 every single day, no matter what, I sit down or lay down for 30 minutes of meditation time to get my head clear, to make sure that I'm prepared mentally for the next few hours of the day, which are really important, and so that's what I do.
You know, man, I tell people that all the time. Our job isn't physically hard because, I mean, we're not digging ditches and we're not roofing, putting shingles on roofs and stuff. But, man, like, it can be mentally exhausting some days.
Totally.
Like I say, I get home sometimes and it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Last night was one of them. Man, it was 8:30 at night. I was sitting on the couch. I'd kind of laid down on the couch watching TV, and next thing I knew, my girlfriend was waking me up to go to bed. And I was just out, man. I was just wore out. I was mentally exhausted from just craziness throughout my day. Well, man, we've got a little less than 60 days left. We got the election today. We got almost 60 days left. Agents that are brand new in the business or other agents out there that aren't on a team like you guys are, what should they be doing right now to finish out this year strong and get prepared for 2017?
I would say, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're finished up with this year. I mean, any contracts that you have right now that could close next month, that's great. But right now is the time to be working on having an absolutely killer January, having a killer February, and having a killer March. Everything we do today is probably going to pay us out more than likely in January, February, and March of next year. But the very first thing, if you're a new agent, I would say to do is get your goals down. Okay, we've got, almost 60 days left, or a little less than 60 days left. How many of these days are you going to be in the office prospecting? And of those days, what hours are you going to be prospecting? Put it into your calendar and make that calendar solid like stone. I mean, an absolute emergency couldn't remove you from that calendar because you want to achieve your goals. That's what I would say is get clear on what your lead producing activities are going to be, and then do it. And you'll find yourself making a lot of money in January, February, and March of next year.
Yeah, I keep saying the same thing. That God, if you go out right now and you list another 10, 15, 20 properties this year, I mean, yeah, they won't sell this year, but man, those will probably sell January, February, March of next year. And especially if you're in a market that's increasing, even if you got to list that house, 5 to 10% higher than where you think it should be. Like most markets are going up, and hopefully once we get over the election, some of these markets that have been on fire that slowed down will pick back up, again after we get through this. But man, so 2017, what should agents be focused on for 2017? Is there anything you guys are going like, hey, we're not doing this now, but we got to start doing it in the next 60 days for 2017? Do you have anything new you're adding to the mix?
Yeah, absolutely. Personally for our team, we're expanding our agents big time. I mean, we plan to have 15 to 20 agents on our team by the end of 2017, producing their own deals, producing the team deals, just getting an absolute rock solid. I mean, if you've ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, we, from hours of 8 to 12, we want our room to have every single one of our agents in there just calling, just smashing phones, making it happen. That's the vision that we want to see. We want to be a force to be reckoned with. And not only that, we're going to expand into different markets. So right now we're in Weber and Davis counties. We're looking to expand into the Salt Lake counties. We're looking to expand into the Cass counties and Box Elder counties. So
wow,
we're going to
geographically expand
2 or 3 different offices. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, so you guys are going to do that through the Keller Williams expansion team model?
Yeah, we took a lot. It's very similar to the Keller Williams expansion theme model. We've kind of twisted some things to make it fit our own personal preferences, but yeah, that's exactly right. everybody has a role, and everyone's going to work that role, and we're going to be able to just put it into place wherever we go.
Man, that's awesome. So, so how many people are on the team now?
5 people are on the team now, and then we got 3 more recruits running through the gauntlet right now, seeing if it's a match or not.
So you guys will probably be somewhere between 6 and 8 by the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than likely. That's awesome, man. Well, man, I got just a couple more questions here. I know you're busy, man. I know I'm calling you during your break time. Man, I know that there's been a lot of talk about, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, and so there's been a lot of talk about, looking at yourself as a media company. And I know that you're putting out content, it's geared towards realtors in the realtor world, and Colton's putting out content geared towards realtors in the realtor industry. And I'm doing the same thing. But do you think going into 2017 it's going to be important to start producing or coming up with that same content or quality content to put out to the general public?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more involved we are with social media massively, that's going to produce us deals big time. There are deals that I would consider coming out of my SOI that are just people off of Facebook looking at my posts.
Great.
That aren't necessarily in my SOI that I'm marketing, that just know of me, and maybe I know of them at some point, but they're not currently in my SOI. They just see Facebook. And we can see in Instagram, we can see deals like that just coming in, because if you have somebody going to your page and you have 40, 50, 60, 70 likes on all your stuff, and you seem like a credible person, you've already built rapport just by having that page there.
Yeah.
That, along with having page likes, having positive things for people to say about you on your page, we are coming into the world where, the majority of people are looking for a real estate agent online before anything else. And so we need to make sure that we're there front and center, along with the income-producing activities that are proactive, such as, getting on the phones and talking, voice-to-voice with somebody. That's just going to increase it. So I think all pieces are vital, but I think we're moving into the stage that we're going to have to start studying, learning, and adapting new ways of marketing ourselves online so that we appear as relevant as any person out there.
How important do you think it is to make sure you get those social media recommendations, such as Zillow reviews and stuff like that?
I think it's huge. If someone's looking for stuff like that, I think then that's going to boost your credibility big time. I know a lot of people go to Zillow for Zillow reviews, and that's actually something we've been focusing on for the last about 12 months now. We had no idea that people held Zillow reviews so highly until we learned this about 12 months ago. We've been trying to build that. And then, how many
reviews are you guys up to now?
About social media. I think we got in the 20s or something like that. So at the end of every one of our transactions, we try to get a Facebook review and a Zillow review. Obviously, you can't force somebody to go in and do it, but we tell them 2 or 3 times within our process to go check it out. And we also have someone calling them, reminding them to see, if they did that or not. So we're getting more and more.
And I'll tell you with Zillow, I haven't told anybody I'm doing this, so this is the first time I've ever mentioned this to anybody, especially like during a recording. But I started, I decided that I was going to really start focusing hard on my reviews. I was looking at other people and looking at other agents, and I noticed that there were some agents who were big agents even in my market. I'm going, man, they're spending a lot of time on Zillow reviews. Maybe I should be taking this more seriously. So about a week ago, I started really going out there and working the people I know that knew that I'd bought and sold houses for, sending them messages through Facebook. Hey, can you review me? I only have like 6 or 7 reviews, but I went from 0 to like 6 or 7 like in a week.
Sure.
And I feel like my Zillow, the number of leads and inquiries I'm getting from Zillow, like off my listings, dude, it's skyrocketed. I mean, it's probably 3 times what it was, 2 weeks ago. I mean, it could be where we're at in the market, but I think it's tripled, man, since I started getting reviews.
That's
And
incredible.
it's been enough to say, hey, I need to go out there and get, I need to set a goal of like, hey, I need to get 50, and I need to make sure like all my solds are on there, because I've been kind of lazy with that stuff. I was going, nobody cares about that shit, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that's completely different. So, other than Zillow and Facebook, man, is there any social media thing out there that we should be focusing on as agents, or you guys think you should be focusing on as agents?
I think Instagram's huge. I think Snapchat's huge. I think I don't know about Twitter. I don't do a ton with Twitter myself, but maybe that's something I need to learn about. I think the more people see you, the better your odds are of getting a deal. And tons of people use Snapchat, tons of people use Instagram, and you can market yourself in so many different ways just on those two. Not to mention live streams with Facebook, videos with Facebook, photos with Facebook, anything with Facebook. Right now we're posting about 8 to 10 times a day on our business page, on our personal pages, just to be at the top of people's minds all the time. We're posting on Instagram 8 times a day. So
wow,
I think those four right there are your main ones.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I can tell you, Facebook, like if I post stuff on my personal profile that I know, like sometimes I'll post stuff just because I know it's going to get a lot of interaction. And, but I do it just so that I show up and I maintain like a big reach. And, I do that over and over again. I think Facebook is non-negotiable for real estate agents now. But I don't think a lot of real estate agents, they don't really get it. You can't cram listings down your friends and family's throats 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, think they're going to buy a house from you, And, Instagram,
Absolutely.
Instagram, when I realized that maybe it wasn't stupid, was I got a golden doodle. And my girlfriend decided she was going to make an Instagram page for our dog. And I was going, oh my God. I mean, is there nothing else? I mean, do you need me to find you something to do, And my dog all of a sudden has a couple of hundred followers. And
holy cow.
She'll take pictures of them playing or different stuff. They're doing different stuff and upload them. And my dog's almost a celebrity now, I feel like. I have people asking about my dog more than they're asking about me. And it's kind of funny. Instagram is blowing up, man. So most of my audience is brand new agents, and this is my last question. Somebody's just getting into the business. What advice would you give them, Garrett? What would you tell them they should go do to get started in real estate, just in general?
Just in general, for someone who just got their license right now and is just looking for direction right now, right?
Yep, they're looking for some direction. What should they do?
What I would do, and this is what I did, 2.5 years into the business, and I wish I did it on day one, is find somebody who has the results that you're looking for. And whether or not you're going to be on their team or whatever it is going to be, don't even worry about that. Set a lunch meeting with them. If that's not what they're wanting to give you, take 15 minutes of their time and just set a date with them and say, listen, I want to do what you're doing. Tell me how you got to where you are, and I'll do it. And if the person you're talking to is a wise person, they're going to get you on their team because they can see the ambition in your eyes and they can see your willingness to be coached and your willingness to learn. If for some reason they don't, which, happened to me, I've been on a team and got off it 2 months later just because it wasn't a fit. Sometimes it's not a fit. But you can take stuff from people that have already done what you want to do and you can improve. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. I would find somebody and become friends with that person who is producing the results that you want to do. If you want to make $50,000 a year, go find the person that's making $50,000 a year. You want to make, $500,000 a year, go find the person who's doing that. There's not a huge difference between the two other than one person does just a little bit more in every area. It's not a huge difference, and they'll find that to be true if they do it.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Well, man, this has been like a jam-packed 30 minutes. I feel like there's been a lot of information here. Well, man, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they want to send you a referral or just get in touch with you for, I don't know, whatever reason, how would they go about getting in touch with you, Garrett?
You can check out my Facebook page, The Great Garrett, or just type in my name, Garrett Allred. My email address is Garrett, thewgr@gmail.com. It's GarrettTheWGR@gmail.com. Or you can shoot me a text or give me a call. My phone number is 801-620-0256. And my phone's glued to my hand, so you won't have too much of a problem getting hold of me.
Awesome, man. Hey, well, I'm going to stop the recording. I really appreciate you doing this with me today. Hang on just a second.